Well, my name is Tom Barnes, and I started screening silent films in the Retroformat series 10 years ago. This came out of my lifelong hobby of collecting films. I started collecting silent films on 8mm when I was a teenager, and I built up quite a collection over the years. And 10 years ago, I perceived that there was not a lot being offered in the way of silent film fare in Los Angeles. I felt like the silent film era was getting slighted, and there were a number of artists whose work was really wonderful and really important, who were being ignored and pretty much forgotten by the public. Artists like William S. Hart and Charlie Chaplin and silent film performers whose work needs to be preserved. And when their work is not known by the public, then it stands a lot less chance of being preserved for future generations. So I feel like it's really important to give these films a public airing. We do our screenings in the Spielberg screening room of the Egyptian Theater, which is the smaller of the two auditoriums. Since most of our product is on 8mm, we set up a smaller screen. We like having a smaller room because we have to project a smaller image using the small format films. This was sort of an unorthodox approach for a screening series in a major venue like the Egyptian Theater, which is really a world-famous theater. And we were not sure whether people would even come to see films on 8mm when I started out. But there is a need for these screenings, as I was saying. The series has been very successful over the years, and I'm really proud of the array of films that we have shown, from rarities like programs spotlighting silent serial stars whose names are hardly remembered at all today, to rare work from well-known performers like Charlie Chaplin, Douglas Fairbanks, who was a wonderful artist. I came to the hobby through a childhood interest in horror films, and that was what got me started collecting 8mm films in the first place. The first film I ordered was a 10-minute condensation of Dracula, which I bought from the back pages of Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine, and I bought my first projector through that magazine as well. And it just happened that our public library at that time had 8mm prints of some of Black Hawk Films' restorations of silent films that were marketed at that time. And by the time I was 18 or 19, I'd acquired about 100 films, and a lifelong fascination with the era and the artists. Well, I've been a legal secretary for 20-something years, and I'm actually just now giving that up. As we're starting the new Retroformat coalition. 2 years ago, a very important film preservationist and historian passed away. His name was David Shepard. He was single-handedly responsible for the salvaging and restoration of probably thousands of silent films that would likely have been completely lost otherwise. And he left behind a library of about 9,000 16mm and 35mm prints from his private collection. And before he passed away, we talked about the possibility of doing a film series, probably here at the Egyptian Theater, using that collection. Our mission is to educate and create enthusiasm about the art and history of silent film through in-person screenings with live musical accompaniment. And we plan to take our screenings not only to the Egyptian Theater, but to other museums and theaters across California, as well as grammar schools and high schools and universities.